In October, on October the 20th, our state chairman, Tina Benkaiser, will be here in Delta County, that's the next county up, in Cooper, at the Cooper Civic Center, to basically give us a state of the state address and tell us what's going on state party-wise, and also to educate us on party growth and some of the things that the state can do to help us continue to grow our party. Everybody is invited. But let me encourage you to consider joining that coalition. If you want to do things on a larger scale, if you want to see counties helping each other, if you want to help local elections in another county, if you want to see and help pool our resources so we can attract statewide candidates and statewide office holders and affect local elections, please consider joining this coalition. And if you have any interest, please talk to me after the meeting. But don't forget that date, October 20th, 6 o'clock p.m., the Cooper Civic Center in Delta County, actually it's the Delta County Civic Center in Cooper. Is that right, Pam? Okay. Let's see. We talked about the shirts. Well, Bill, I think it's time for you to go ahead and give us the status of the membership committee, if you would, sir.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll be very brief. I just basically want everyone here to know that if you're not a member, we want you to become a member. And you can do so with as little as $25 membership annually and all the way up to a platinum membership. But we want you to be a part of us, and we want us to be a part of you. So we want you to join. We want you to formally be a member of the Hopkins County GOP. I just happen to have some membership forms. So if you got $25 in your pocket or checkbook, I'll give you one of these and you can become a member tonight. Thank you.
Everyone enjoy the Tea Party on July 3rd when the governor was here. Who all attended that, by the way? Wow. It was because of this coalition, by the way, in large part, that the governor came down. And some of the speakers we're talking to, you're just not going to believe that we think we're going to be able to get here because of that coalition. So I can't understate the importance of being involved in that coalition. We're speaking on a regional basis, folks. This region that we're talking about is probably the 5th or 6th largest voting bloc in the state. So suddenly, when we talk in Austin, they listen. Let me just remind you of one thing, then we'll introduce the speakers. I know a lot of folks have been very concerned about the health care bill that's pending in Congress and the different versions of it that are in the House and in the Senate. We came out of the summer, we went into the summer thinking it was a done deal. We came out of the summer thinking that it might be closer to dead in the water. It's neither. It's still very active. It's still pending in the Senate, and there's a high likelihood that something's going to be passed. So please don't forsake your efforts in calling your congressman and your senator and other congressmen and other senators and writing letters, and continue doing what you're doing to express your concerns about this measure. Just today, the Massachusetts legislature gave the governor the authority to appoint a replacement for Ted Kennedy. And as I understand it, the replacement is going to be a guy by the name of Paul Kirk, who was at one time, I believe, the Democratic chairman. So you can probably imagine that he's simply going to toe the same line as Mr. Kennedy. So the effort's not over. And the worst thing that we can think is right now that we've won, because we've not won this thing. We've not won it until it's not mentioned anymore. So please keep that in mind. Now, for our speakers, one of the things that we're dedicated to do is to educate everyone that will attend about local offices, so everybody understands the importance of what a district attorney does, what a judge does, what a commissioner does, what the city auditor does. And we don't assume that everybody knows. So we're committed to bringing programs that will give you all the information you need to know when you're voting for somebody in the voting booth. You know what they're doing in your local community. Well, our theme tonight is the judicial system. So We've invited a few speakers who I think you're going to enjoy. The first speaker is our local district judge, Judge Robert Newsom. I don't think I need to go into a lot about his background. You guys probably know it more than me. So rather than take his time, I'll just ask the judges to come on up and talk to us about the district court. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Erwin, and it's really an honor to be here. I'm here every time anyway, but it's an honor to be here and speaking to you. And a lot of you know my background. You know, I was a farmer and really wanted to be a farmer. For some of you who knew me way back then, I really wanted to be a farmer when I came out of college, and I was a farmer for about something less than 10 years. But then I felt compelled by the Lord to go to law school. And I know that most people say, well, he was compelled to go to preach or missionary or something like that, and nobody would be a lawyer by the act of God, you know. But I really felt that way, and that's why I went. And he's blessed me in it, and I've been in it something over 20 years. And it was 1984, and 3 years of law school plus. So it's been a blessing. It's been a lot of fun, and y'all have kind of watched me and supported me even when I was a Democrat. As you know, I switched over, and I'm glad I did. And it was because, as Chad probably can't focus on this, but everybody's looked at these boards up here, and those boards, what's written on those boards had a lot to do with it, with my changing over, because as my dad, who has passed on now, he was a lifelong Democrat. And some of you knew my dad, and he's a wonderful man. But he has gone on to heaven. He now has found out that there are Republicans in heaven after all. But he didn't think so when he was here, probably. But he never realized that the party changed, that his party, the Democrat Party, changed, but I realized it, and so that was another compelling issue that Robbie and I went through, and when I became last election cycle, I went ahead and put my name with a Republican beside it, and I've been blessed in that. I made a few enemies and a whole lot of friends, and thank you for being my friend, because y'all have already, well before that time, were my good friends, as well as mostly, for the most part, Christian brothers and sisters, and which is the most important thing we can do in this life anyway. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the district judgeship, and we do have some microphones up here, and I can tell you that not Judge Smith. I'm going to introduce to you Judge Amy Smith here in a minute, and she's not boring, but I am. And so you better be asking some questions along to keep this thing a little bit lively. We're not going to talk long. It's a relatively short session tonight. We had another speaker come in, John Douglas Perry. Is the head of probation. He was invited to be here to speak and tell what our probation office does. We have about 25 to 30 probation officials that actually work over much of the people that we are able to work with outside of the prison system. And he was going to be here and tell about that, so you can ask questions about that. I'll answer the best I can. I want to go ahead at this time and introduce Judge Amy Smith and get her up here with me. I'll be talking, and she will too. We can go back and forth. Here we go. Are all of these working? All right. And Judge Smith graduated in a very good year, 1970, from Sulphur Springs High School, the same year I did. And so...
So we're old.
Well... And so in 1970, we graduated from high school. It's kind of amazing because some of the other judges are right around that time period right now. Judge Yvonne King was, 1 year behind us, and she was there. And then some of the other judges are mostly from this area. And but we were, she went on to Texas Tech Law School, went on to and graduated a little after I did, actually. I went late in life. I told you I was a farmer. And was very happy to be so. But when I was 33, I went to law school, and I was talking to my son about it. My son Jonathan is at Lubbock right now. He just quit the Army. My youngest son quit the Army. It is in law school. He's 33 years old himself, going to law school out there, and I'll be going to see him next weekend, hopefully. And then Joel, I just came in. I went home, changed shirts, and came on in to the meeting tonight. He's in El Paso at Fort Bliss, and so we've been at Fort Bliss all this week. The prosecutors all went out of town. Is that you or me?
Me.
All right. Anyway, swap mics. Oh, one of these. Here, try it again. There you go.
Turn it off.
There you go. Try that.
All right.
And so I've been at Fort Bliss this week. This morning, my son Joel took me out into the desert, and we ran 2.5 miles in the desert. So the only thing I saw was a jackrabbit. I was hoping to see something more exciting, but that's all I saw, and I didn't catch him.